Shelley? Yes, ma'am. Let's get this thing going.
David Walkingstick, Don Garvin, Jack Baker,
Here.
Harley Buzzard,
Here.
Joe Byrd,
On in.
Julia Coates,
Here.
Joe Sishenhawk, here, Janelle Fulbright,
Present.
Frankie Hargis,
Present.
Hannah Glory Jordan, present, Lee Keener, Dick Way,
Here.
Curtis Snell,
Here.
Janice Taylor,
Here.
David Thornton,
Here.
Victoria Vasquez, Kara Cowan Watts.
Honey.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Shelley. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of minutes June 16th.
Make a motion to be approved.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Down to reports, Ms. Diane Kelly and Mr. Darrell Lade.
I got the big show with me today.
I know it. He's a big hit in Cherokee,
Oh
Phoenix.
yes, oh yes.
Better breed in jailbirds.
Yeah.
Flip side of it.
Yeah. Amen
Okay.
to that.
Gosh, he's Sequoia County boy.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I guess the big thing that we want to talk about is our new job-driven national emergency grant. I want to appeal to you because our news release went out and they said we're already ready to start taking applications. Well, I think most of you that's worked around grants know that we can't start taking applications until we get approval through our funding agency how we're going to implement the program. And so we've already had people calling the offices and the staff are like, we don't have any applications yet. So what we're doing is if anybody does come in, we're going to take a partial application so that we don't have to turn anybody away. And we're still in the process of negotiating with our grant officer on some of the things that we put in the grant that she wants us to modify or change. We did a conference call with her last week, and we'll do another one this week, and we'll be working on those forms that she's wanting us to tie in with this. You can go back to 2006 for somebody who's been unemployed for that length of time and go forward with it. So anybody that goes on the program has to have been on unemployment status, and we have to determine whether or not they're going to let us self-determine that or whether or not they're going to make us go through the Oklahoma State Employment Security Commission. So those are some things that we're still working on, but I wanted to share that with you if you've had any of your constituents tell you that they call the office and we wouldn't take an application on them. That's primarily why, because we're still in the negotiations with our project officer. The grant is a 2-year grant. We ask for $3,525,037. We were successful in obtaining that and got an additional $175,000 on top of that. And I think in the news release you've seen it, we were the only Indian tribe. One of the things that we have asked for an opinion on is because we are the only Indian tribe and the rest were states, is it open to anybody that walks in the office, or can we give Indian preference? And she's trying to get the solicitor's opinion on that at this point. So right now, we don't know. We may be able to take an application on anybody that walks in the door. Hopefully we'll get some guidance on that next week or this week. The grant is 50% for a project director. We've got 3 job navigators, and we don't have a job description for those navigators. We're having to write that and get those ranked. We've got 2 job developers, a special assistant, and a budget analyst. And those positions have gone over to personnel. We do not have those positions on board yet. So we've got the project director, 25% of it will go to Darrell Legg, 25% of it will go to Brenda Fitzgerald. Brenda will have the on-the-job training piece of it. Darrell will have the vocational piece of it. So with that said, I just wanted to share that with you. We've got 3 other grants in the pipeline. One is a reentry through the Department of Justice, which is $994,172. We were told that we would not hear until September whether or not that one was even accepted or funded. The Youth Bill grant, which is a Department of Labor grant, is $972,782, and it was a matching grant of $272,048. We won't hear anything on that till August. And then the last one was a $10 million grant through the Department of Labor, which is a H-1B Ready to Work program. And if that one happens to get funded, then we've got to go back over here and regroup with this grant that we're getting ready to implement, because there is no way that he can handle both those two grants with what he's doing right now. So we may have to change our scope of work and who's doing what. But I just wanted to share that with you. The public relations on this grant has been excellent. Amanda and her staff did an excellent job of getting information out there. We couldn't ask for any better for that. The thing that we're probably real excited about right now is our partnering with Cherokee Nation businesses and our prior office that we're opening in the Mid-America Industrial Park, and also the office that we're opening in Tulsa across from the C&B corporate offices. Right now, they're putting carpet, painting the offices in Tulsa. Roy Hall told me that they've got the telephones, the IT put in. We're getting ready to move staff up there. We're moving in Pryor today. The IT is still being worked on. We may have to shut down in Pryor for about 3 or 4 days because of that, because we don't have any phone service. Tulsa will be the same. We're taking some of the staff that's in some of the other offices, and they're going to work in the Tulsa office till we can get this grant funded. With this new grant, the career navigators and the job developers will be, 2 of them will be located in Tulsa because of the projects that we have going on up there. 2 of them will be located in Pryor, and 1 of the navigators will be here in Tahlequah. And that's primarily because of the scope of work that is in that grant. 1 of them is an apprenticeship program for the iron workers, and that has to be out of the Tulsa area. And then the other one has to do with our in-house training programs that we have right now through NAVTEC. And our training centers right now are sitting up there at Verdigrease in Claremore at the housing project. So that's where one of the training sites is going to be as well. What we were talking about while you all were talking about housing that we kind of springboarded with David, one of the areas is construction trades, and we could actually enhance what we have going on here, but we don't have the facility, we don't have the space. That's what I was talking to Bruce about back there. Gary says we have the space up there at Claremore that could work the northern area. But in order for me to do that, he's got to take some of his inspectors and make those construction trades supervisors, and we can put the trainees with them. So give us a few weeks, and maybe we can get that off and running so that we could actually take that Claremore area and work the northern areas as far as helping with some of this emergency assistance. If he can take some of his inspectors and make those into instructors, and then we can also put some day workers out there for some just basic laborers. And he has the trucks, the facilities, and we can partner with him on that. So just give us a few weeks to get it all worked out. I don't know if you knew it, but Harley knew it, so did Councilman Byrd. I used to work in community development, so I do know a little bit about housing and construction, because they were under me, not once, but twice. So we can actually supplement the trainees with that to help with some of the emergencies. But I don't think that we'll have your solution to the problem by next month, but we may have everything worked out on how we can implement this. And Daryl's going to help me with that, right, Daryl? Brenda is back full-time. She took her last treatment last month, and she has to go in for just a minor treatment once a month between now and the end of the calendar year. And she's really gung-ho. She's going to be our point of contact for this emergency grant through the Department of Labor. Felicia Blair was our project officer on the NEG. Well, she's our project officer on this, and she and Brenda work real well together. I want to introduce, let me see if he's here. David Cummingdeer. I think you all had talked about the fire program several times. Well, now there's one fire program, but there's really actually 2 programs. David Cummingdeer started with us in our department this morning. He will be under John Overacker in the Taro office. He has an office up there in the back part of the Taro building. His operation is over in the back part of the Southgate buildings. His truck and everything is back there. He's real excited. He came to our management meeting this morning, and then I took him over to Job Corps this morning as well. He met with the management team over there. He's going to be doing some training with the Job Corps students so that they can get a second vocation as part of the fire program, and he's real excited about it. We're excited about getting him, and then he'll also serve as the lead for the Cherokee Fire Dancers. So he's going to start working to bring those together and enhance those programs. So we'll have a lot more to tell you about in the weeks to come. So I just wanted to share that with you. So David will be over in our shop. GED, it was reported this morning by George Roach that they only have about 50 plus that will take that has passed the GED test. You recall that it was on hold for so many months because of the new transition to the computer system and the way they wanted the new testing site set up. So that kind of put us a little behind, but we've only got about 50 plus people that will graduate in September. In talking with Ramona Holt over at Job Corps, she's telling us that they are behind on numbers as well. In visiting with the tribes at the Intertribal last week, we found out that we're not the only tribe. All the tribes are having problems with it because of the timeline that they put on everybody to get those testing sites up and running. So their numbers are all down as well. Pearson View, who does the ACT exam for the college entrance, they are the contract that the State Department, Ms. Barisi, went with, and so that's the contract that we have as well. Stephanie tells me that there are other contracts out there that we could obtain rather than Pearson View, and we're going to be looking at that because they may be a little easier to work with. Right now, Pearson View is geared more towards college-bound students, and they're not looking at the vocational aspect of it. So those tests are very hard, and if you're going to pass it, you can't do it by paper anymore. And it really offends some of the people that are going through the GED program because they're not computer literate. So we are having some problems. So I just wanted to share that with you. We are working on that. Ramona Holt wanted me to tell you all that invitations would be coming out. The Talking Leaves Job Corps will have their graduation on Friday, August the 22nd, and that there will be invitations coming out for that. And the Congressman Mullins has indicated that he has it on his schedule to come and be the speaker for the graduation, but he has not committed yet. He just put it on his schedule when they were in Washington, I guess, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So with that, I want to turn it over to Daryl and let him tell you a little bit about what he's doing, and then if you have any questions, we'll be glad to respond to them.
Mr. Chairman, I think we owe this guy here a round of applause. That is quite an accomplishment, Mr. Darrell Lake. Just got back from the White House.
I got to play golf with Joe the other day, and he gave my first Indian name, called me Mini Strokes. I said, well, what does that mean in English? He said, I ain't gonna tell you. We had a great time in D.C., and I really appreciate everybody's support. It was overwhelming. I get really emotional when I talk about this stuff because I got such passion for it. This is a nationwide issue, and it's not just tribes that are having this problem. It's nationwide, but just thank God that we work for tribes that are taking initiatives to combat it. Since the war on drugs began in 1980, the incarceration rate has rose 444%. The state of Oklahoma incarcerates more people than China and more people than Russia. We've been the number one incarcerator for women for 19 years, number 4 for men for the same amount of time. Now, what happens is 90% of these people are getting out. We're left with the mess. You see what I mean? Tough on crime, it wins and loses campaigns. You know, for some reason it sounds great, but whenever you think of crime, you're thinking of violent crime. You're not thinking about simple possessions of marijuana, DUIs. These folks that are just probably not even going to have a jail sentence, they're probably just going to get out and then come to us for help to try to find employment. These are the things we deal with. In 1994, they took Pell out of the penal institutions. Since then, last 15 years, they have committed $550 million to the efforts of reentry. We're kind of doing this backwards. The whole deal, we need to be in a preventive mode instead of a reactive mode. I say utilize that money while they're in there in building trades or any kind of vocational or college type classes that they can get, instead of trying to reinvest on the tail end of it whenever they got 30 days to make the first payment. Fines, child support kicks in immediately, driver's license, and then they're expected to succeed, and it just don't happen. So I'm just tickled that the national level has seen that this is an issue. And I want to praise Choctaw Nation. They are finally on board with getting them a reentry program, and I'm so tickled. We fought for them, and this administration that's in is coming in, full force. They're going to be here and join us for our NARA meeting, August 27th, and you all are invited. It's the Oklahoma Native American Reentry Alliance. It started a while back when we started doing our intertribal. We were leaving the rest of the tribes out with our meetings, so we decided to have our own standalone Oklahoma Native American Reentry Alliance. So we get to be the host tribe. Congressman Mark Wayne Mullins may be in attendance. He has not went through what's it called, the plan. He has some kind of planning calendar that somebody does for him. He hasn't been able to commit yet, but they've answered me today and said they're looking into it. It'll be from 10 to 2. The Creek Nations will be there. The Chickasaw Nation will be there, and we will be there presenting on how our programs are running. And the Choctaw Nation is coming to sit in and listen so that they can learn what might be best for them. Each tribe has their own separate programs. The Chickasaws have an awesome program, and their felons get to work on their golf course. You know that? We fought for our guys to get on our golf courses. They're not even allowed to mow a lawn. That ain't right. That ain't right. The guys that were out there being so kind to us, Joe, at Chickasaw, those were convicted felons that just got out of prison. They're allowed to work on their golf courses, but we won't do that. And I plead to y'all to change that. We got capable people that can mow a lawn, that can spread sand, that can turn on a water hose, that can fix golf equipment, and we won't let them on our properties. And that ain't right. We're not asking them to go be a cashier at a casino. We're asking them to help upgrade and keep our lawns for people to come and play golf. That ain't got nothing to do with gaming, Anyway, I got to plead with y'all. Y'all's my counsel.
Daryl, just hearing these stats that you've talked about, you were the underdog. The odds were against you, and you overcame. And we're proud of you, and we're glad that you were recognized for these efforts. And we hope that you continue to move forward in that direction. All right, thank you.
You bet. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if I could, just one more thing that I forgot. We had 2 brothers that came to our office last week, and one of them was 40 years old, never had a driver's license in his entire life. The other one doesn't have a driver's license either, and he's 33. And John Crenton said, Dine, do you believe that there's about 40% of our males that are coming through our office for day training or for vocational training, they don't have a driver's license? Their wives or a neighbor or a relative, their mother brought them out here. And I asked the guys, I said, why did you not take driver's ed when you were in school? Because the 40-year-old graduated. He said, because I couldn't afford to buy a car. Why would I take driver's ed? Okay, the other one said the same thing. We've got a bunch of people that have got fines to pay with the courts. Judge Dobbins here in Cherokee County has been working with us on some of those people. He's working up plans so that they can come out here and work on the program so they can get those fines paid. We're working with the program over in Kara Whitworth's program so that they can get those fines paid. We also have people that are going through DUI. It is costing us somewhere between $500 or $600 to get someone to go through DUI. And I think that the health department, through the behavioral health, if they could get somebody that was certified to do that for us, then that would help us a lot, and it wouldn't be so costly, and we could get people back to work who need that training, that DUI training. And we are appealing to some of the areas, because I talked to Connie about this, that I said if you hire anybody else in behavioral health, make sure they are certified to do that for us, because that would help us to run some classes through there, and we could pay that so that we can get them back in the work world. We've got a lot of males out there that need driver's ed, and we're going to work with Job Corps. They've got 2 driver's education teachers. They've got a driver's education vehicle, and they've got the equipment, and we're going to run that program through George's program in the evenings over here and run some of those people through there so they can get their driver's license so that we can get them employed. So I just wanted to let you know that we are working on that end of it.
Well, some good news is Chief Bird is certified teacher in driver's ed.
Oh, he is? Well, good.
That was years ago.
Yeah.
Don't look at David's vehicle, but he is.
Yeah, yeah.
Do y'all have any questions?
I was the dummy in there. Sorry, Council Lady Taylor, I apologize.
My first question is, do you have a teacher for that driver's ed? Or do you have somebody in mind?
There are two teachers. There are two teachers over at Job Corps, and they have some equipment that's a instrument. It looks like a car. Yeah, simulator in the classroom over there. So Mr. Barnes and Mr. Connell are the two instructors.
Second of all, are the GED testing sites, are they full and running as they should? We're getting people in to do it, it's just a matter of pass rate? Am I understanding that?
That's correct.
Third, would it be possible to partner with VOTEX like we have in the food services in the construction area? Would that be maybe another avenue to get some of these things done? Because I know our VOTEC they have a masonry division, and they also have a construction division. So would that possibly be an avenue that we can use to get some of these projects?
Most of your VOTEX, because I used to work for Indian Capital, most of your VOTEX have those trades, but they are limited on going out in the field to do the work. That's why they prefer to build a house there on site and then sell it. So that from an insurance standpoint, they don't want those students going off the campus, because if they do and they was to have a wreck or something like that, then they would be in a lot of hot water. And most of our VOTEX are geared toward 11th and 12th graders in the daytime, so we would have to get classes at night, and nobody's going to want their house to be rehabbed in the evening. I mean, it depends. They might, but
They've been waiting
most of
7
them are going to
years,
be in the
they might.
daytime. But I think that if if David can commit to getting some of his lead guys, because I know who some of those guys are, and they started out as what he was talking about as carpenters, then they were lead carpenters, and they had crews, and they went out and they did the rehab work. But somewhere along the line, like he said, to get them that bump in pay, they made them inspectors, and as a result of it, we may have quite a few. But for this emergency and for a timeline, if he could put a timeline with it and he would commit to that and he's got the vehicles, we'll put the trainees with him.
Very good, okay, thank you.
Council Lady Coates.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have two questions. Diane, you were talking about David coming here being brought on, and I know that the situation of not only him, because he's been a Cherokee Nation employee, I think, for a long time, but his crew is BIA. Is that?
That is correct.
So, and his concern has long been for his crew, that they would have benefits and other things that they didn't through the Bureau. So I'm glad he's shifting over and that, he's real happy about it and everything. But I wondered, do you know anything about what's happening with the guys on his crew? Are they also being brought in?
We met with the BIA about 2 weeks ago. Karen Ketcher set up a meeting with the BIA, and any of the guys that he has working, whenever they're called out for the BIA, those guys can actually come in and work on those projects. And then as the Cherokee Fire Dancers with the Forest Service, then he would be the point of contact with Teresa Williams and that group as well. And then he would call in those fire dancers. One thing that has happened that allowed us to look at trying to merge those together. The National Forest had put together a contract for us to sign. We signed it, and then the AG's office looked at it, and we had to bring everybody together. And basically what it is we have to make those people employees while they're actually out on those sites. So with that, we had to put them on contracts, and so they will actually have to be employees, and they will have to be drug tested. So we're in the process of bringing all those fire dancers in. They're actually going to have to be drug tested. And so with the Job Corps piece in place, that will give us an extra vocation, but we have zero tolerance, so all those kids are drug tested when they first come in. So he'll have a captivated audience, and he'll be able to pull them to do work for any one of those two projects.
So I'm not really following whether his concern for his crew that he's had over all of these years, that they should be placed in an employment status where they would receive benefits and so forth, if that is part of
If they're
this.
working, no, there won't be any benefits to either one of the crews because they're not considered full-time employees. They're just on as-need basis and called out whenever there is a fire call.
And then my second question, I guess, for you, Mr. Legan, I share your enthusiasm and, your anger and all of the emotions that you've expressed. I think, we're incarcerating a lot of people who really shouldn't be in prison and have that on their records for all their lives, and it doesn't surprise me that the state of Oklahoma is leading the way in this, unfortunately. But one thing I am aware of, I think, and maybe people from the education department who are in the back can also help to address this a little bit, is that, okay, if we're not letting ex-felons work even on our golf courses, I know one thing that we've also done is that in the past, we used to offer scholarship assistance to inmates through state colleges. I've had 2 occasions to know about this. A friend who has taught in the women's prison for many years for Connors State says that as of this past year, they weren't offering that scholarship assistance anymore, and so all of her students who were progressing towards a degree just got cut right there, basically. I had a call from the mother of one of those young women telling me basically the same thing, very, very upset about this because they had really seen this as the young woman's chance to really recover and so forth. And so I think that, maybe it's a question but for education, but I would really question if, that we have stopped that scholarship assistance and that is maybe also not sort of a forward-thinking
Right.
sort of trend on our part, if you will.
I agree.
All right,
Anyway,
all right,
that's,
thank you.
thank you.
Council Lady Fulbright?
Thank you. I just want to congratulate Darrell on everything that he has done with his life. I saw him grow up and the struggles he went through, and he had a lot of marks against him, but he's the proof that you can change, you can rehabilitate. He's a dedicated family man, and he has great passion for what he is doing. You will read some of his posts online about various issues of prison terms, and it's a lot of things that we need to ponder on and think about and get out of that little narrow mode, because they're all our brothers and sisters, and we need to welcome them back. And we all, most of us around here, think of ourselves as Christians, and we need to remember what the Bible said about administering to the people in the prisons, and I'm sure that, when they come out, they need help. We don't have to be questioning how they got there, but can we help them move forward? And I just think Darrell is a leader on this. He's way before his time. He's got some great ideas, and I'm happy that he's working for the Cherokee Nation because he's helping people get their lives back. And Cherokee Nation helped him get his life back, too.
Right.
Thank you, Darrell. Well done. I'm proud of you.
Love you.
Is there any other questions? Yes.
Chairman, I just want to say thank you, and please tell your wife thank you for supporting you, because I know it probably takes a lot of time out of her time with you, so please.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was glad
will
that your
do.
whole family got to go with you, if I
I
understood.
appreciate that, yeah.
So thanks, Diane, for supporting him to do that. Thanks, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, congrats, Daryl. All right, next is Bill Ando, Dr. Sly, Executive Director's Report.
Sly's taking some much time, needed time off.
Good.
He's a very hard worker, so I'm solo today.
Yeah.
You have the education report in front of you, so I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about education services, particularly to the report.
Any questions for Mr. Ando?
I can say that we're currently this week mailing out letters to all the scholarship applications that arrived on time. So then we'll adjust, it will make we're still looking at the ones who came in late, so.
Hey, Bill, are we advertising the Cobell scholarship?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check with Mandy Scott to see if we're actually advertising
And then the
that.
college housing apps for fall is August 1st to the 15th. Are you guys offering those out of your office as well, or just Mr. Cooper's office?
I think it's just Mr. Cooper's office.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Councilman Garvin?
Is it possible to apply for scholarships for doctor's degree? Is it too late? I had a person call in that wanted to go to OSU. I'm not sure when they start, but
Yeah, I mean, the funding cycle, the deadline is hit. So, I would always encourage anyone to contact the College Resource Center. Make a connection with the College Resource Center, and then at that time, they'll be assigned an advisor based on their alphabet. And so if we can't get that person in here in the fall, we would certainly look at funding them for second semester, so as soon as possible.
thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, good report, Bill.
Thank you.
All right, well, hey, we'll see you next week.
You're going to see me next, because I'm also filling in for Verna. So I'm just doing double duty. So I'm currently
All right,
Verna.
Zane,
She got tied up in the admin meeting over Head Start. So
Anyone got any questions for Verna Thompson?
Summer's going quickly here because her teachers return on the 21st.
Okay.
So that's coming up real quick.
All right. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Ando. All right, Sequoia High School. Mr. Leroy, Superintendent Leroy Qualls.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
With the report you have, I want to make a correction on the very first item. This year Sequoia made AYP, which is Academic Yearly Progress, and was the only BIE-funded school in Oklahoma to do so. Not only that, it was the only school this side of Santa Fe, I think, that made AYP. So we're very proud of that. We have just finished closing out the school year by June 30th. And then I met this morning with our cafeteria staff who's returning. Next Monday, our dorm staff returns. So we're already gearing up for the opening of school. To our students, we have freshman orientation next week on the 22nd. Our students return August the 13th. Our teachers return August the 11th. Those are just some dates there that we have coming up that we've got to be prepared for. One of the other things on there that we're pretty proud to pursue is a national accreditation for a character education movement for Sequoia High School. Whether we get there or not, if we can be recognized even on the state level would be fantastic. If we can make it to where we can be recognized nationally, that would be great. We had approximately 180 student applications for this fall. The sad thing is we didn't have room for all of those students. And another sad thing is that we weren't able to take as many as we would like. There's good students that were not accepted. And we have a review committee that goes by a rubric, and each student gets scored individually. And with that being said, we've taken 392 students for this school year, which is as many as anyone can remember. And a couple of things here with some of our individual students. Kason Green is signed to play basketball at Northwestern Oklahoma State in Alva. Kelsey Leach signed a D1 scholarship with the University of Missouri, Kansas City. Brittany Wakachi signed to play volleyball at Ottawa University in Kansas. Taylor Henry signed to run cross country for Bacone College. Megan Towie and Casey Leach both will participate in the All-State Games, which will be the last week of July at the annual State Oklahoma Coaching Clinic. Very happy to say also that Audrey Blue is our first ever volleyball player to make All-State, and she'll participate in All-State Week also, the last week of July. And the Lady Indians basketball team has been invited back to the BOK Hoops Showcase, which this coming year will be January the 31st. Very successful event last year with 8 games or 16 teams participating all day long at the BOK Center. And our girls were invited back, and we're happy for that. Our immersion school this summer served over 70 students that just completed the summer programs there. our high school also had over 70 students at the high school, which makes me very happy because last year there were 18, just to make a comparison. Also, our immersion school has taken applications for the 3-year-old program and for the 7th grade at the elementary. And their staff completed training last week, A-plus training at NSU on July the 8th and the 9th. Some of the projects involved that we've talked about, I've walked through the dorms where we've had furniture moved in. It's wonderful to see these queen-size beds sitting on pedestals with huge armoires on the other side of the room, nightstand by the bed, very nice lamp, and a full wall mirror for these kids, and those will be in every room except for the queen beds. We've limited that to 56 because there'll just be one student in each room. Hopefully it'll be good motivation for them to make good grades and have good attendance to possibly get a room like that. Ironically, the traffic light football stadium project has not started yet. The equipment, if you've been up by the school, was placed up there Friday, and they surveyed Friday for the traffic light. And sad to say, I was out in the hall and someone reported to me there was a very bad wreck at that intersection just a few minutes ago. These cars were lined up all the way out here, even with Cherokee Nation. And I just hope it wasn't an employee or a student. I don't know any details, and I really don't want to say and speculate. The water line project that we have will start after the football project is completed this fall to keep from having too many construction people and projects going on at the same time. And what's not on your report there, I visited with someone today that's going to set up a meeting between me and a lady that's representing a funding source for our vocational agriculture ambitions for the future, to where it would be fully funded if we get the money for that. And that meeting will be sometime before August the 20th. And that's all the information that I have at this time.
Mr. Qualls, where the last project says water lines will start after the football project. Why isn't it vice versa? Why wouldn't they do the water lines first and then do the football project?
I'm really not in the know on that. That's just what I was told.
And now, where are we at in the football stadium? Is it still in the bidding process?
The way I understand, the bids have been completed.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Qualls? Yes, Ms. Fishnaw?
Yeah, Ron, who does the buying of the prom dresses for the girls at the Sequoia Mansion?
The students raised money to do that, and from what I remember or recall, they went and bought those in Tulsa last year.
Well, whoever takes them needs to start taking them around here to your old place. They've been taking them to Tulsa to somebody up there, and they're not Tiro certified. And we've got a couple of people here in Teleco that are. And I'd like to see our money going to Tiro
Yes, ma'am.
certified vendors.
I understand.
It was my understanding that I think even Garth Brooks come down here and bought his daughter a dress down here in Kimberly.
We will look into that. Also, I know that it's money that they raise, the students raise. It's not the school money.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, good report, Mr. Qualls.
Thank you.
All right, old business, seeing none, new business, none, announcements. Next meeting is Monday, August 11th. Your motion to adjourn. Some of all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion adjourned.
Thank you.
Kurt,